guys, today I'm gonna review The Upside of Unrequited by Becky Albertalli. I received this book through Netgalley in exchange for an honest review, so as always, this is what you're gonna get. The Upside of Unrequited is a YA contemporary and it comes out April 11th. The story is essentially about the 17-year-old Molly and kind of her family life, her love life, her just friendship life, and just kind of really a view into all of these different relationship dynamics. The kind of main conflict of the story is that her twin sister Cassie kind of falls in love for the first time, and how that kind of affects the twin relationship between those two, and then how Cassie and the whole friendship group kind of try and find someone for Molly as well, but then obviously life always does something different than you plan to do, and the story kind of goes from there. I am not really someone who picks up lots of contemporary romances, but in this story I knew that there was lots of diversity, and so I just thought, you know, why not request it and then we'll see what happens. And when I got accepted, I actually realized that I was really happy about it, and that I never expected that I would get accepted because I heard so much buzz about it. Holy fucking shit, I am so happy that I picked this book up because I absolutely loved it. I always want to throw it out there first before I say anything about the book when I absolutely loved a book, because I feel like it's just kind of important for you to know that I maybe cannot be really objective because I was so fucking in love with this book. And initially I gave it 4 out of 5 stars, but there was a point where I wrote my Goodreads review where I just kind of read through the description again, and I just kind of read it and I was like, and I just did this happy sigh, and I just realized how this story kind of impacted me even. And then I was like, no, this is a 5-star book. And I even put this onto my top books of 2017 list because I just really fell in love with it, and I still thought about it. I am already craving to reread it. I just absolutely fell in love with this book. Now let's talk about some of the diversity in this book. Honestly, there was a lot, which is great. This is exactly what we need, because it wasn't like this character is their sexuality or this character is their race or whatever. It was really just there, like it is in everyday life. So I am gonna try and mention a few of the things. If you have any questions, if you want to know if any other kind of marginalized group is represented in this book, definitely let me know in the comments or write me a message or write me on Twitter or whatever. But I don't think I can mention everything. I don't even think that I realized every single thing that was in there. The main character and also other side characters are Jewish, and this is actually own voices. Becky Albertalli herself is Jewish. Also, the main character Molly has anxiety, and it was another fact that was dealt with really well, because it was like just there, and we know that Molly takes medication for it. For example, she cannot really drink alcohol because it will kind of conflict with that medication, and just in general, just like little things where you just kind of thought about, oh, you know, this might make me anxious or whatever, but it wasn't like Molly was this mental illness. It was just kind of there, and we just saw her kind of deal with it in everyday life, and I really loved that representation. We also have several queer side characters, or really like minor characters in the story. There are several gay characters. There is a pansexual side character who is also Korean American, and then also in general, just kind of the feminist aspects of this book were great. It wasn't like it was like a super feminist book, but just when it came to talking about like just the concept of losing your virginity and how that is what's supposed to make you a woman, and just other like little feminist things like that were mentioned throughout the novel, and I really like that. Made me so happy, because you cannot completely ignore that there are people who have very weird views about these things, but in this case it was mentioned and then challenged, and I was just like, yes, this is it. Now overall, I just thought the story was really cute and fluffy, but also very realistic. When it comes to the different relationship dynamics, I just thought that so many of Molly's thoughts were just really relatable and realistic and just made sense. The twin relationship between Molly and Cassie, as I said, through this relationship that Cassie has, just kind of goes through a big change, because all of a sudden the twin is not the most important person in that life anymore. And I also found this really realistic. I just really liked the development that both characters kind of went through because of this, and how they kind of both just came to terms with it. I also just in general loved the family dynamics in this story. Molly has 2 moms, and I really just liked how they kind of cared about their children, but they weren't like overly strict. For me, this was like exactly how YA parents should be. It was like they were kind of open and just really nice and really caring, and you could really tell that they were a part of their children's life, but also they were strict. They didn't have any fear to talk about topics that might have been a little bit uncomfortable. I just really liked the dynamics there. And then also the friendship dynamics were something that really stood out to me, because I just liked that Molly wasn't always like, oh my god, I love my friends, they are the best, and like nothing can ever happen. But she had very like open and honest thought about like sometimes maybe being jealous, sometimes thinking, oh god, nobody likes me and actually wants to have me there. And I just thought it was really interesting to have like realistic representation of that, because I mean, maybe I'm the only one, but I certainly know that around like 15, 16, 17, it wasn't always like, oh my god, I love my friends, they are the best, but I was jealous of people, and I was thinking people didn't want me there, and I was thinking I hate everybody. You know, I have always kind of just thought that was a normal part of a friendship. And because also Molly kind of realized then, wait, like this wasn't a good thought. Like this thought that I had was a very like emotionally loaded thought that I don't have anymore now. It wasn't like, oh my god, I hate this person, and then they never talk to each other again. It was just like, I am like sad or upset with this person right now because of this thing, and maybe it's irrational, but this is just something that I feel right now. And then the next morning it was fine because like the emotions were gone. And I really, really liked that, because I felt like that is such a realistic portrayal of friendship. I also loved the different romantic relationships we had in this book, but I don't even want to go into detail. I just thought it was just so cute and lovely, and honestly, like, I'm just getting goosebumps thinking about it, because I just really, really like the way it all played out, and I'm just really happy when I think of this book. Now, I do want to get into something that is a little bit more personal, which is definitely like very subjective as to why I feel like I love this book as well, but I want to mention it because maybe someone can relate. I was able to relate to Molly so much. I honestly often have problems with relating to characters in fiction. I know many people often say it like, oh my god, I was able to relate to this character so much, and I honestly rarely have that. There are people where I see different traits, and there are people where I kind of feel like I want to be them, but I rarely have a character where I feel like, oh, this is really like a relatable character to me, and I really feel close to this person. But with Molly, so many of the thoughts and feelings she had were so relatable, and what I loved so much about it was that some of the thoughts and feelings were things that I can remember I thought when I was her age, and then other thoughts and feelings were things that I still feel today at 24. That made me so happy, because it was really the first time that I felt like I could like really relate to the thoughts and feelings of a main character, and that's just amazing to me. I just really felt like her thoughts were so real and so emotional and just so pure. We really got to see every single thought that she thought, even if maybe it was like a very drastic or dramatic or not very nice thought. And I just love that. I love that so much. There were just so many times where I found myself nodding because she said something that I totally agreed with, or I just found myself smiling, or I even found myself like tearing up sometimes because I was like, girl, I feel you. And that's just beautiful to me. And as I said, it was so great to see like some aspects that I remember I thought when I was 17, and then some aspects that I still feel about this way even 7 years later. And that's just the greatest gift to me, to be honest. This is definitely one of the big aspects why I really, really love this book. But in general, I would recommend it so much. Like, even if you don't read too much contemporary, this is one of the contemporaries I would 100% recommend if you're looking for something maybe to read in the spring or summer. The Upside of Unrequited is a beautiful book, but it's also a simple book, a cute and fluffy book, a realistic book. And I don't know how Becky Albertalli managed to combine all of these things, but somehow she did it, and I absolutely fell in love with it. So these were all of my thoughts on The Upside of Unrequited by Becky Albertalli. If you have already read the book, please let me know in the comments. Talk to me about it. Tell me what you felt about it. Or if you feel like you want to read it now, let me know as well. I'm gonna put links to the Goodreads page and to pre-order the book down in the description. And yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I guess I'll see you soon. Bye!